Peace, peace. Welcome back to the Water Podcast. My name is Daniel. So glad to be back with you guys, man. Shit, it's been a minute. I don't remember when I dropped the episode, but the last time I recorded was February. And it was like, I'll get back, I'll get back. And then I look up and it's like, bro, it's basically fucking August, bro. But it's been a lot of life transition, a lot of like figuring out of schedules and stuff like that. One of which, like, as you can see, like I moved. No longer in the place that I was before. Um, Empty as fuck room, right? Got my yoga mat back there. I have my essentials, but took some time off the move. Uh, what else has I been up to? Just been in the process, and really, this episode is going to be about just the changes in my life, but I'm going somewhere with it. But I'll start with the changes on some like TLDR shit. You know what I mean? So for those who don't really want to hear all I got to say, but maybe want to know what I've been up to, the beginning of it will be for you. But yeah, moved, local move, but much better move. And so that's been exciting. Um, I don't know how noticeable it is to you guys. It won't be noticeable at all to you if you are listening to this versus watching it on the YouTube channel. But I got Invisalign since I recorded, so teeth are like a little bit straighter. I was gonna record with them out, but I had an appointment like a follow up Friday, and they've been on my ass. Like, bro, you gotta wear these shits 22 hours a day. And I was like, bro, I be sipping tea and shit. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, do you want straight teeth or not? Like, fuck, man. So here we are with that. A few bigger life changes. Those are like the surface life changes, but the bigger life changes, for those of you who have known me for a minute, one more surface life change is the fact that I'm doing this shit like video. You know what I mean? Which is unlike me to record a solo pod with video. Normally I do this with audio and I be pausing like, but y'all don't hear that because I edit them out, which is why it takes like 4 hours to edit a solo pod when I do them. But this is me spreading my wings, man. I have another thing that I'm going to give you guys later too with what I've been doing behind the scenes to improve this pod shit. Speaking of pods, one of the bigger changes, those of you who have known me since 2020 or know me for a minute, I also do a weekly boxing pod called Last Was at the Bar. And I let the guys know we're on a contract right now with the network. And so it's a 1 year contract, and then after that is month to month. And I let them know that as of the end of this contract, which will be at the end of September, I will no longer be a part of that pod as like a full time like producer, and not full time, but like weekend time producer and like a regular co-host on it. In general, at the macro level, I'm at a place in life where I don't really have to do the things that I don't want to do anymore. And I'm just like trying to unlearn that grind. Like, what am I doing out of necessity and what I'm used to, and just having a hustle? And what do I do because I enjoy? Because, like, I want to do the things that I enjoy, and I don't just want to do things out of habit. And with the boxing pod, like, there's a difference between being a boxing fan and a boxing guy. The boxing fan, I can watch whenever I want to watch. I don't have to score a fight. I don't have to predict the fight. And I don't have to watch tape for that or anything. I can just, like, if one of the homies texts me, I can talk about it. I can tweet about it, whatever. But when you're the boxing guy, on top of those things, like, you have to talk. Like, it's literally like a job on a weekend. And it's like, in order to not stress myself out on Sunday, it's like I'm watching tape for fighters so I can predict. I'm like prepping my notes. Um, and it's a lot. And I've been doing it for 3 years, and I just want to be a boxing fan again. Like I have less of an attachment to the sport as well as the outcome of these fights than I have before as well. And so I really just want to be free to watch it when I want and talk about it when I want. And on that note, speaking of things that I've done out of necessity and out of grind, again, for those of you who know me going back in time, last was at the bar was 2020. For those of you who have known me since 2016, 2017, 2018, I have this brand. It's called the Monarch brand. And I've been over it since 2020, really. But yeah, I mean, for those of you who aren't familiar, I call it a lifestyle brand, because that gives me room to do whatever it is that I want to do with it. But on the tangible side of that, it manifests itself into a hair product that I would sell. But yeah, like when I started it was kind of to get over fear of failure. And I wanted to like save money, first of all, and then I wanted to just feel like I was worth a damn, like I was in that place. And I got burnt out, and then I kind of like thought I recovered from burnout, got burnt out again. And I was really over it by like 2020. But that's when people started to find out about it, and people started liking it. People started believing in it. It started to take off a little bit. But with it, I've always struggled to create out of enjoyment, versus like to generate sales. Like once I started to worry about sales, it just wasn't fun anymore. Um, and it's like, I don't know, when I tell people about it that are close to me, it's like, you sure like you can really do something with it? And it's like, on one hand, like I kind of did. On the other hand, it's like it's at this point where it's going to be what it is. It can either be what it is, where it's like I post on the socials, and hopefully the socials make people want to go to the website. And hopefully by that they see something they like and they want to click buy. Hopefully that happens. And then once they click buy, and then I gotta make it in the kitchen, and then I gotta package it, ship it, and then I gotta do that again. If I wanted to outsource this, it's like I could either bust my ass to get to a point where it's like financially viable to even outsource it, or do what I'm doing, or like just stop right here. And people are like, well, you can do this. I'm like, bro, like it reminds me of one of my favorite boxers is Andre Ward, and he retired pretty much at his peak. And he would say, people walk up to him and be like, I know you got one more in you. I know you got one more fight. And he would be like, why can't I just have one more fight? Like you can simultaneously have what it takes to continue this on, but also just keep that, because you don't want to you don't want to be a boxer, since we're going with that reference, that like they're still fight like Roy Jones. I hate to say it because I respect him a lot, but he's fighting like bodybuilders now, like he just kind of like won't let it go. And I don't want it to be a thing where it's like I'm running on fumes, well, even more fumes than I'm running on now. And it's like, why didn't I just stop this when I really could have and should have way back when? So I'm not going to be doing a pomade anymore. The podcast will still exist. But I'm going to restructure that as well, and make it less businessy and more like tell me your story. Like, I'm really interested in your story. Tell me about that. And me just finding people that I'm really interested in. And that's it. Like, I don't give a fuck about nothing else. As it pertains to Monarch. There's another lane that I'm thinking about. Well, there's two other lanes that I'm thinking about with Monarch. Again, I call it a lifestyle brand, so it can be whatever I want it to be. One of them, it's like I don't want it to become another pomade, you know. But the other could come as a result of the next thing that I'm sort of kind of working on. Like, I'm not forcing it at all, but I kind of have an outline for a book. And so I won't give too many details. Like, if this is your first time finding out about it, like, I fuck with you for making it this far and for listening. But if this is your first time finding out about it, you won't find out about what it's about until like it's out, maybe, or until I do another update episode like this. But yeah, man, last was at the bar, been a hell of a run. Went from like 20 downloads a week to like 4,000. Last 4,000 was back in like March, so it might even be like 5K plus, which is, according to the numbers, we're damn near in the top 1% for like podcast listeners, you know, which is hard to do. And with Monarch, you know, some shit that I just did to get out of like the emotional mud that goes and like is in GQ and shit, you know, like shit, man, amazing. You know, like, I can't complain about that. But I'm basically kind of making room for like other things, and I've had some time to like sit and reflect. And really, that's kind of the end of the TLDR shit. Like, those are the life updates. But really, I'm just been working on really since April, May, just trying to be on some Zen shit for real. And when I say Zen shit, I mean like not like I'm becoming an actual monk, but like, what is it that they do that I can apply to my life? Because I just be like, it's super easy to be overstimulated these days. And so I actually found this. It's on my phone. I found this website. It's called Zen Habits. I actually tried to get the guy to come on here for this episode, but you know, it's just me, clearly, so it's fine. But there's like 12 things that they have to be more like Zen in real life. And I'll just kind of read them, a synopsis of them. Number one is do one thing at a time. I'm going to read them, and then I'm going to like say how I've been like applying some of them and what they mean to me. That's kind of how I'm going to end the episode, I think. Another thing before I get into this, though, I don't know if it's noticeable to you guys, but I've been working with a breath and voice coach. And again, I'm trying to get better at this podcast shit, even when I'm not recording. And so a friend of mine actually does it, and I didn't know he did it, but I found out, and he actually listened to some of my old episodes, gave me some honest critique. And I'm like kind of early into the class. Like, it's a small group class. It's like 10 classes as of this recording. We're in between classes 3 and 4, but I did like a whole 20 to 25-minute breath connection routine before I came on here. And it's been pretty cool, like, realizing how I breathe and how where I have tension. And like, even, I don't know if you guys caught this, but as I was talking earlier, my shoulders were kind of up. And then like I kind of caught myself while I was talking, like, bro, why are my shoulders up? Like, I can use that to breathe, and I can breathe to project. And I used to be afraid of the ums and the silence. And it's like, if you're listening, like, I can low key, mid key, high key, just revel in this silence that I'm purposely generating. And you may not still fuck with it, but it's what I can do with my voice. You know, like, I'm super early in this class, but it's been super helpful for me. and just realizing where my breath stops. Like a lot of times, like I'll get so excited, like I'll talk about something and like I'll talk super fast. So I'll be like out of breath and I stop breathing here where you're supposed to breathe all the way down your body, like full body breathing. Um, but yeah, that's another thing I've been on. But back to this Zen habit shit, right? So do one thing at a time. Um, Single task, don't multitask. When you're pouring water, just pour water. When you're eating, just eat. When you're bathing, just bathe. Don't try to knock off a few tasks while eating or bathing. Um, I'll read through them and then I'll say how it's showing up for me, and we'll go from there. Number two, do it slowly and deliberately. You can do one task at a time, but also rest that task. Instead, take your time and move slowly. Make your actions deliberate, not rushed and random. I can tell you right now, I'm working on that one when I eat. Um, about a year ago, I visited the DMV area and stayed with a friend and his family, friend, wife, two young girls, and they made me dinner one night. And I got like when I eat, I just be, you know what I mean. And the wife thought that I thought the food was nasty because she was like, "You just chew like 3 times and you just swallow." I and they were like, they were just kept checking on, like, "You sure it's good? Like, are you enjoying this?" I'm like, "You see me fucking it up, right? Like, I'm enjoying this." But they took it as nasty, and it's like, bro, I just eat fast. That's why I've been trying to work on that. But on number three, do it completely. Put your mind completely on the task. Don't move on to the next task until you're finished. If for some reason you have no choice but to move on to something else, try to at least put away the unfinished task and clean up after yourself. I'm not gonna read all of it, like all of the supporting text, but I will link it in the comment section in the description. Number four, do less. A Zen monk doesn't lead a lazy life. He wakes up early and has a day filled with work. However, he doesn't have an unending task list either. There are certain things he's going to do today and no more. If you do less, you can do those things more slowly, more completely, and with more concentration. Number five, put space between things. I'll share about this later too. Related to the do less rule, but it's a way of managing your schedule so that you always have time to complete tasks. I know the Virgos listen to that shit like, say what now? Because I was one of them. Six, develop rituals. Zen monks have rituals for many things they do, from eating to cleaning to meditation. Ritual gives something a sense of importance. If it's important enough to have a ritual, it's important enough to be given your entire attention and to be done slowly and correctly. Seven, designate time for certain things. There are certain times in the day of a Zen monk designated for certain activities. A time for bathing, work, cleaning. Stop reading there. Devote time. This is 8. Devote time to sitting. In the life of a Zen monk, sitting meditation is one of the most important parts of the day. Each day there is time designated just for sitting. Number 9, smile and serve others. Self-explanatory, I won't read. 10, make cleaning and cooking become meditation. This has been kind of dope. I ain't gonna lie. 11, think about what is necessary. There is little in a Zen monk's life that isn't necessary. He doesn't have a closet full of shoes or the latest and trendy clothes. I'm gonna stop reading there. That's not my ministry. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I need to put that shit on. Uh, 12, live simply. The corollary rule of 11, the corollary of rule 11 is that if something isn't necessary, you can probably live without it. I can rock with that. And to live simply is to rid your life of as many of the unnecessary and unessential things as you can to make room for the essential. I'll start reading there, but like that's what I meant though. That's why I cut this shit out that I was cutting out, because it's like, what's they call that? Live simply. Like, what is necessary to me and what is like like, am I doing this out of abundance or am I doing this out of like, I think there's like two kind of necessary, you know, like for me, it's like, what is necessary for me to eat, pay rent. And then there's like, what is necessary for me to be happy, you know? But I'm basically kind of cutting the things out of my life that I think isn't necessary or that just don't move me anymore. So yeah, man, just getting out of those habits, I'm sorry, unlearning grind mode, and that whole ordeal. But yeah, how it's showing up for me, like, so in the mornings, probably like 2, 3 years ago, I would make breakfast while picking out clothes while putting on clothes while eating breakfast. I would like make my oatmeal for the car, drive with my knees, eat oatmeal with my hands, you know, like one morning I just decided to like do one thing at a time. Um Obviously you kind of got to set yourself up for success. I've had to set myself up for success the night before so I can like leave myself more time in the morning, so I can like just get my clothes together, just make my breakfast, just eat my breakfast. I try to eat without my phone, and like even though I still set aside time to just like sit up and meditate, cooking is meditation for me. Eating is for the time that it lasts. Eating is meditation. Cleaning is meditation. You know, like the article said. Um, One big thing is as well is like, so for lunch, I have to go into the office once or twice a week, and for lunch, when I go into the office, I can't bring my phone. Like I have to lock it in a lockbox. It's like a top secret facility or whatever. Um, so I gotta put it in a lockbox. And so what that means is like, and there's no place to like eat outside. And so I either if we bring lunch, there's like a break room, but then like it's not. You're still kind of like in that kind of, I'm not gonna say prison, but in that place where you don't have your phone and you don't have like that freedom, or you can sit at your desk. So I've been more intentional about like, okay, when I go to lunch, that's going to be my day to eat lunch out. So I can go somewhere, order the food, um, eat the food, not have to think about anything. And like, even when I'm at home, let my breakfast and my lunch be time away from the desk, you know, so I'm not like trying to work and eat at the same time. I'm not perfect. That's been my challenge too, to be like perfect with what I'm trying to do, but I haven't been super rigid in it at all. I just been allowing myself to be like water, you know what I mean? Like flow. If like I oversleep, like I gotta eat breakfast at the computer. It just is what it is, you know. Like if there's calls from 11 to 2, like I'm gonna have to eat lunch from one of those calls because I'm just gonna be hungry around that time generally. But yeah, and then like in the same vein as that, like I try not to like use my phone while I'm walking or while I'm driving. So like when I'm in the office and it's lunchtime and I get my phone out the locker, I try to check it like at the locker, and then I put it in my pocket and I don't check it again until maybe I get back to my car. Or like if I'm going from our apartment to the elevator, like I try not to check it from the apartment to the elevator. I really try not to check it until like I'm either in the car or if I'm walking, I'm in my destination. You know what I mean? And so yeah, just being more intentional about things. Going back to the schedule thing where it's like trying to squeeze things into the day. Like instead of that, like I leave more time to get to places. I'll have my same to do list, but I'll give myself more time to do it. You know, I've been trying to do. Um, I've really been getting better with that, and like it really lets me. It really allows me to kind of stop and like realize where I'm going. You know, like sometimes I can just like drive and not really pay attention to a whole lot because I'm rushing to get somewhere. But yeah, like it's been cool. Um, I feel like the next level will be for me will be kind of like maybe even planning out what to listen to in the car, like when I'm on my phone, maybe have a designated playlist that I play for that ride, or like a dedicated podcast or something like that. Um, Instead of just like doing it while driving or at stoplights or something like that. On that note, I listen to a lot less music and a lot less podcasts actually, because I used to do it while I was working and I would like log a lot of time that way. A few reasons I stopped. One, because like my old job was metrics based and I had this new job where it's like performance based. Like you don't have to knock out X amount of things a day, but how do you produce? Like what is it that you're adding? And that takes a lot more time for me, like not more time, but more concentration is the word I'm looking for. And so, like, in the vein of doing one thing at a time, the one thing is going to be work. Like, I have to, that's what is necessary. So I'll work and then, like, and then I even try not to, when I'm eating, I try not to listen to too much. Um, because I just want to think about eating. I just want to like be there in that moment. Again, not perfect, but getting there. But yeah, other than that, man, I have these notes. I was trying to like be kind of subtle with them, but I think I might have covered everything that I want to cover. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the other thing I think I have is just like in the spirit of leaving more time. So like when I go to yoga, when I do, like I'm like in and out, you know. But they have these like benches that face each other outside of one of the studios, and so I've been more intentional about allowing myself time to like cool off. Like it's hot yoga, and they have a humidifier in there, so it'd be hot as fuck. So just sitting down with just like, this is like a whole place outside of yoga. Like you can like actually sit here and just like chill, and you don't really have to do much. But yeah, like all these changes, I just been trying to, I don't know if y'all peeped that, but like my face was like this and I was like, why am I doing that? And so I kind of lightened it. So now I'm just looking at you guys just like chill, right? But yeah, man, that's the shit I've been on for real, for real. Um, it's allowed me to really just live a really peaceful life that I didn't even know existed as an adult, because it's just been grind, 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 work, do this job, make this product, try to build this other product. Fuck that DIY shit, bro. That shit is dead for me. You know what I mean? Um, and this is the shit that I'm trying to be on. This where I'm trying to carry it. Um, and just really, really get better at the shit that I like. That's really what I want to do. Or not get better, do the things I like, or just be curious, allow myself to, run in place or just walk or just sit down, you know. Those are things that I didn't know if I would ever get to that point. I didn't know there was a point. I used to get off on multitasking, it would stress my mom out when she would call me and I'm like eating oatmeal and talking to her and driving, and I can do it. I can handle it. Like, bro, for what, dog? For what? What are you trying to prove to yourself, dog? Like, what are you trying to prove to other people? It's like, just do the one thing and just do it, bro. You know what I mean? So that's what I've been on. I've also allowed myself a lot of grace with this recording shit, and that's kind of like a collateral to it too. Like when I first started Monarch alongside Water, it was like I got to record, like I got to give the people 2 episodes of each a month, and it's like I didn't mean for it to take this long, but at the same time, it's just kind of gonna be like you get it when you get it. But I tell you this though, I'm gonna make sure it's damn good when you get it, And I've been so for I wanted to do a part 2 of friendship where I got someone who's like in the field of studying friendship, and this is an example. And I reached out to them and they didn't respond. And so like I was like, okay, I'm gonna reach out one more time and then I'm gonna move on. But the first one didn't work, and I thought I really came correct. So I gotta come like perfect now. And like a week went by, 2 weeks went by, 3 weeks went by. Nope, still not perfect. In the week 4, I'm like, bro, this is actually hindering me from recording more than it is like actually benefiting it. Like, cause if they wanted to do it, they would have gotten the first one. Like, like they're in the business of making money too. And I offered to pay. So like just work around it. And so now I'm doing this one. I had a plan A, B, C, D for this one. This is plan D. It's fine. But I'm coming with some good shit though. I promise you fucking that. Between this and Monarch, like I'm putting so much care into these things. Like the only thing that I'm like gonna have to catch up with is like on the video production side, because that's a whole new skill set that I'm still working on. But bro, I'm super excited to. This helped me shake off cobwebs. But I'm super excited to kind of be back in the lab and have my new setup. Can't wait to continue to set up however I set up. We'll see how long that takes as well, but I'm giving myself grace with that. And yeah, we here, man. If you made it this far, I appreciate you listening. I will be back soon. Definitely way sooner than last time. So yeah, man, I love you and appreciate you for rocking with me for real. Like I really, really love doing this shit. And I can't wait until my schedule is the way I want it to be. I don't think I gave a timeline for Monarch. I think as of this recording, it is pretty much early August. By mid-August, it's out of there. I'll put it this way. I'm not letting Shopify charge me again. And Shopify charges me on the 25th of the month. So it's for sure going to be before the 25th. That's all I got for that. But nah, I'm looking forward to getting better and really like seeing where I fall in this shit. And I love y'all, man. I mean, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. And I'll see you soon. Peace.